just went to Metrocon, where I juggled my busiest schedule yet, judging and hosting cosplay contests. So I was excited, but a little afraid, because I've had a 6-month streak of convention disaster, be it natural disaster, biohazards, or evacuations. So I've come to believe that I am cursed. But I had enough hope that Metrocon could break it that I headed down to Florida to find out, and got hit with the curse before even leaving the airport. Because when we went to get picked up by our Uber, he calls us over to get in, but then he gets scolded by the airport traffic person for stopping in the wrong place or something. But then the driver escalates this into a yelling match as we are scrambling to get our heavy suitcases into the trunk, which led to the trunk not entirely closing. So when he angrily drove away, one fell out, and the driver kept going for several more yards before finally stopping so we could get out and grab it. Anyway, as I kept my now paranoid eyes on our suitcases in the trunk, we made our way to the downtown Tampa Bay Convention Center's Embassy Suites.
Weeb spotted.
And I believe the Embassy is the only hotel connected to the convention center. But it's kind of a Metrocon icon, with suite-style rooms that include microwaves, hallway windows perfect for husbando posters, and a random piano. And as we checked in, we discovered that somehow Haley had become luggage. This is Haley, by the way. Joe, my fiance, couldn't make it this time, so I enlisted Haley to be my handler/assistant/videographer for the weekend. She's a cosplayer. She's got literally the same college and high school degrees as me because she is also my oldest friend. And most importantly, she is the nicest person you will ever meet. And we were lucky enough to get a room with a view of the con itself. Wow, oh, we get convention center view. We get to see everybody taking photos and stuff. This is awesome. And after we'd recovered from our Uber versus airport trauma, it was time to travel across the uncovered Sky Bridge to get our badges from the cosplay staff, who were somewhere deep within the con's back rooms in a mythical place called the Cosplay Guest Green Room, which was down an incredibly hard to find hallway that weirdly smelled like hot glue all weekend. But there was not a hot glue gun running in the actual cosplay green room, which is where you'd probably think there would be one. So I can only assume that it must have been the industry guests that were making macaroni pictures all weekend. Anyway, we grabbed those badges and snuck a peek at main events, which had an incredibly large stage with a catwalk, a crazy lighting setup, and full-on bleachers in the back. But we got out of the back rooms and into the dealer's hall to set up my booth, which I'd be running as a charity drive again, but I'll tell you about that later. For now, here's us sneaking more peeks of the dealer's room in progress. And I've always been fascinated by seeing this because I guess for a long time, I never realized how much work goes into running an artist or a dealer's booth. These people are hauling displays and products and signs, everything in here just to get a chance to break even. But we'd not had any real food yet, so we decided it was time to find something to eat, but quickly discovered that that is not a thing at Metrocon. We sat on the steps for probably 20 minutes staring at Google Maps going, oh, well, there's a probably tourist trap seafood place right here, an ice cream place here, and then the closest other thing is a sports bar down the street, and nothing else. Unless you cross the bridge, because there's a Publix right there. And if you're not from the South and you don't know, Publix fucking slaps. But yeah, there is no food at Metrocon until the food trucks show up, so we went for the sports. And I do think I would recommend the sports bar. The French dip was very good. But we were also there at 3 p.m. on a Thursday, so it was empty and no one was yelling at the sports yet. And we'd had enough yelling for one day. But back up in the room, we were joined by Pins and Snip, who are my dear friends, fellow cosplay guests, and who think this shot is really funny. But as we sat and chatted, we started to notice a looming small rain cloud from the living room window. And when we looked outside, we saw raging palm trees and an umbrella attempting an incredibly difficult game of Sudoku.
And there's a car directly underneath, too.
And we needed to be at the cosplay guest reception in 10 minutes. So it was starting to look like the curse was coming for Metrocon. But we ran out into the rain to find out just how unfortunate it is that the sky bridge is uncovered. But real quick, let's go back home so I can tell you about my new incredible cutting table from today's sponsor, FlexiSpot. So I have been slowly chipping away at a mountain of projects for my upcoming wedding. And my new FlexiSpot E7 Pro standing desk has become such a huge help. For so long, if I wanted to hand sew at the table, I would hunch my back over so that I could get up close and then my back would hurt. But now, with a single button programmed to my standing height, I can bring everything up and save myself from back pain. I've been a standing sewer for years now, but I have never had the luxury of adjustable height or the reliability or stability that you get with the E7 Pro. It can go from the perfect height for cutting to bringing my machine's needle up so that I can rethread it without bending over. And with a max weight capacity of 355 pounds. These giant machines and all of this camera equipment are no problem for this desk. I'm also so proud to say that I put the whole thing together myself, and I was actually really intimidated to do this because it's got all these electronics, so I thought it would be really complicated. But with their excellent instructions, I managed to do it all by myself with a little help from Kitty, of course. And I was shocked by the max height of this thing.
Holy moly! Whoa! Wow!
It also comes with a 15-year warranty and a 30-day risk-free return policy. And they're currently running their 9th anniversary sale, which comes with $75 off and a chance to win 100% free orders. FlexiSpot provides all kinds of ergonomic desks and chairs to meet your needs. And if you've got a limited budget, check out the E7. Don't miss out on that anniversary sale and leave a note at checkout saying that Sarah Spaceman sent you. And use my code YTE7P50 to get $50 off your very own E7 standing desk. Let's go back to Florida.
Hold on to your hat, Haley.
Holy! But we did make it to the cosplay guest reception, where we got to meet the staff, see so many familiar faces in the other guests, and they fed us. They gave us vegetables, which is apparently like gold at Metrocon, because again, there is no food unless you go to Publix, and we had the best that Publix had to offer. I did hear tell that there is a legend of a time when Metrocon's cosplay guests were only fed Little Caesars pizza all weekend. And if you've never been to Little Caesars, it does not slap at all. Anyway, at some point, the straight-up owner of the con came in and gave this speech about how grateful he was for us as cosplay guests, because apparently cosplay is the heart of Metrocon. And I was like, oh my god, that is not common at all. Most cons don't give a shit about the cosplayers. But I had no idea how centered around cosplay Metrocon's culture is, and I'd not seen the half of it yet. But what I hadn't seen enough of was food, apparently, because Pins and Snip, who had a car, offered to take us to dinner. Though, before we left, our quick trip up to the room turned into a long wait for the embassy's biggest problem, its elevators. Any elevator at an anime convention can mean long wait times, but Metrocon's was made particularly worse by the fact that from the second floor, which is where the sky bridge leads into, there is no clear indication of where the stairs stairs are. But here's the crazy part. After dropping stuff off in the room, we did find the stairs on our floor, but when you hit the 4th floor, you're met with this long, spooky hallway, and if you brave it, you find an incredibly slippery outside set of stairs that turned out to be the stairs that led to the sky bridge that were currently under construction.
Oh, this is where this goes. Oh, I see. You know what we have to do now is just go here.
There's like ominous wind blowing. This is not smart. Watch this roll. Nobody saw that, nobody saw that, nobody saw that, nobody saw that. And at this point, we kind of had to go through with it and finally show back up to our parents to find out just how grounded we were. No. And in my defense, there should be a sign in the spooky hallway that says dead end, but also like, oh my god, Embassy Suites. This seems like a giant fire issue. The way this woman has brought up the new Dragonite evolution to every person she's talked to today. Anyway, we ended up going to a really cool Japanese place in Tampa with fun decor, yummy food, and these weird Jell-O drinks. So you're supposed to shake these before you open them to make them literally Jell-O, but I didn't realize that until I had opened the can. So I had to like shake it with a napkin to actually get the Jell-O experience. But this place is very cool. Pin said this was giving K-pop idol. I keep walking by and thinking that's a person. How fitting is that for Okaru? But it was time for bed, and we'd be needing that sleep because while the rain had settled, the storm was coming in the form of the busiest schedule I've ever had as a guest. With Saturday being the only chill day with 3 events to attend, Sunday being a bona fide 9 to 5, and tomorrow being the first time I'd host a cosplay contest. Would I choke on the pressure? It is fully 8 a.m. and there are people already in cosplay. Well, I was about to find out because after getting into my casual Kasane Teto cosplay and Haley becoming a hobbit, we headed into the con for reals this time. And I just need to shout out how shockingly incredible the bag check staff was. Like, there was never a line because they had plenty of people doing it. They had a caller to yell at people which table to go to. And every time we went through there, they were incredibly nice to us. They had big smiles, told us to have a great day. It was just lovely. Though I found out on Sunday that my badge meant that I didn't actually need to do the bag check, but I'm kind of glad we did because they were so nice. Anyway, before my big hosting gig, we had opening ceremonies to attend. Opening ceremonies is a thing at like every anime convention, and it's kind of just a thing where they hype up the upcoming events, introduce the industry guests, usually not the cosplay guests, but at Metrocon, they do. And we just had to say quick intros.
Hi, I'm Sarah Spaceman.
And I got people to cheer twice because getting people to yell by waving your arms around is very fun, and fun yelling is always welcome. But with opening ceremonies complete, it was time to start shaking in my Teto boots because the performance showcase was up next. For now, I'm just gonna tell you about my experience hosting because I will have all of my thoughts on the performances and the contest itself in my next video about all of the Metrocon contests. Yes, they technically have 5 of them, and this video is long enough. Anyway, in all honesty, I've kind of hosted before. Like, I've called out names before as a judge, but this hosting job came with a robust script for the intro, the contestants, and the awards. And I'd gotten it a few days before, so I spent the morning going over the one really long, uninterrupted line that I had, but luckily, I wasn't alone. I had PJ Pancake at my side, a member of the cosplay staff. And while when I came in, I was feeling good. Me and PJ were vibing, and I not talking to a mic all the time. I'm talking into a mic and reading a script right now, but this is different because I get to edit this. You only get one take on stage, and I've been the victim of adrenaline before, so I was trying to keep calm until backstage. There was a moment of confusion. One person told me to go, so I did, and I yelled, "Hello, Metro!" Before realizing that my mic wasn't going through the speakers. And then we were quickly informed that no, the lights would cue us in. But of course, now I'm like, oh no. Because now I could feel the adrenaline shake my hands. But I took a sip of water, I got a deep breath, and then... Okay, intro, handled. But would I still get that one long line that I'd spent so long practicing?
But this competition is judged solely on the performances that you will see on this stage. They're judged on their stage presence, their pace, their flow, and how well rehearsed they are. But the costumes, the videos, all of the other elements are only judged in how much they add to that storytelling and to that overall performance.
And the moment I was sure that I had it was getting a laugh from a single word.
As well as a Master's of Arts in Puppetry. Whoa.
I did really like this script, by the way. I love that there is a full description of what the show is, how it is judged, and who is judging it, because it makes sure that the audience isn't confused, especially when Metrocon has so many contests. And I actually got a chance to run around backstage before the show and confirm character name pronunciations with each of the contestants, though my hardest was actually someone's cosplay name.
Next up, we have Bobalicious Sophie. I think Bobalicious Sophie has some friends and some fans. We love that.
And while I got that fine, I did trip up on Prepara of all things.
We have Olive from Mirai as Lala from Prepara.
And I can't make fun of other people messing up without showing you me doing it, but I think I did pretty good. I like yelling. Please, cons, let me do this more. Thank you. This was a good toe dip into hosting because it was a performance contest, which meant we got to be off stage for most of it, and I had the expert PJ by my side. But with the job done well enough, the day was far from over because next up was the booth. But on our way out, we ran into an entire drill team of Tetos and learned that this one area with the popcorn stand is the worst crowd choke point of the con. And I guess my only recommendation is that the convention center relocate that popcorn to solve the problem. But we made it through the crowd and got the booth started up. So once again, all of the proceeds from my booth are getting donated to the Campaign for Southern Equality, an LGBTQIA+ charity org that's working to build an equal South. They've got directories for trans-friendly doctors in the South. They offer grants for relocation and so much more. They're a really incredible organization, and I was once again so excited to dedicate my booth sales to them. And this booth was magical from the start. Almost immediately, these incredible Spirited Away cosplayers came up and said, "Is it okay if we record you? He wants to give you something." And then... This is the kind of fan behavior I want to encourage. This is excellent behavior. I love you two so much. But I was also visited by some friendly faces from today's contest, and somebody brought me a Joanne's apron.
Look at this. It's Miku Warhammer, and the pigtails say Popey. This is hilarious.
It's a great blessing and such a privilege to have this many people want to come by. It is admittedly very hard work to be social for 2 hours straight because eventually my brain starts to just blur everything together and I only have a few memorable nuggets that come through. But the nicest thing someone said to me was, "You remind us that we're all human and that we can just make stuff." And I will cling to that nugget the way I clung to that potato for the rest of the con.
So they give you a microwave, but they put it here. And then there's like a hole in here where you'd think the cord goes. But then there's a drawer here, and we took the drawer out. And there's actually no plug for the microwave, and you have to pick the microwave up and plug it in up here. Good design.
But after heating up and eating our leftovers, we weren't done for the day because we were told that we could not miss Metrocon's iconic masquerade.
Now we're gonna go see the big thing. The masquerade.
Masquerade.
That's not a cosplay contest, and it's just a big stage thing. I don't know.
Which we rushed down to because we accidentally didn't leave the room until 6, which is when it was supposed to start. But this is when we figured out that Metrocon runs on Metrocon time, which basically means everything is at least 30 minutes late, and that the time on the schedule means that that's when the doors will maybe open. Maybe. Anyway, in the cosplay world, masquerade usually means a cosplay contest, but not at Metrocon. Pins, who's been to a lot of Metrocons, described this to me as a full-on 3-act play with dancing in between. And I thought that meant like dancing performance, but no. They meant that this was weeb prom complete with bleachers. It wasn't what I was expecting at all, but it started with a literal dance party, and then suddenly the lights went out, the stage lights went up to reveal the first act of this cosplay play. And to be honest, where we were sitting, we couldn't really hear what was going on, or maybe I just didn't know what was going on because it was One Piece themed and I am not willing to commit to that much of a series, but Sriracha, or Sarah, from the cosplay staff absolutely stole the show for us in Okarun.
It's Sriracha. It's Sriracha. It's Sriracha.
They're so cute. It's Sriracha.
It's your festival, lest the spirits grow restless waiting for their new homes.
As someone who's never been to Metrocon, I really enjoyed it, but I do think it could be better with food. I'm not sure if there actually was like a bar in there or food, because we left after Act 1 because this thing is like 3 hours, and we knew that this was kind of my only chance to go see the dealer's room, and it seemed like, and spoiler, was a really good idea to go now while the entire con was having a boogie. But I am kind of mad that I missed Heather, the cosplay director, performing in the fire show, because this is rad. Anyway, we knew from our early dealer's peek that there was a gachapon booth somewhere in the hall, so we went hunting for it and ran into a very cute mascot on the way.
Can I take a picture with you? Yeah, let's see how you You were so cute.
And this is such a fun booth. You have to put in real money to get tokens to play the games, and gachapons, by the way, are just Japanese blind bag vending machines, but you cannot lose if they're all cute. And the only loss was that this one refused to open.
Unhand my lucky cat thing. Holy crap.
Look.
Banana.
Wait, banana.
He's solar powered.
Cute.
And that was Friday. Saturday started with me getting into Okarun and Haley's Minecraft YouTuber guy cosplay. The name tag says grain, but Haley kept telling me that that wasn't right, but that it was also funny that I said that for some reason. And before you're like, oh my god, Sarah, you're so old, you don't know Minecraft YouTubers. Haley and I are the same age, and I do watch Minecraft YouTubers, but mine just throw beds at the Ender Dragon and play bingo. And I did cosplay as Small Ants Minecraft game one time, and nobody got it, but everybody loved Haley in this thing. Justice for Chunky Runky. Anyway, we got in ahead of schedule, so we had time to wander the bottom floor of the TBCC. This area is where most of the panels are, but also the manga library, the quiet room, and a pretty decked out arcade. It's not the biggest I've ever seen, but it makes up for that in quality and variety. It's got the rhythm games, the dance games, the claw machines, the CRT and tournament setups, everything you want in an anime convention game room. And while we were getting goofy shots with one of the Metrocon checkpoints, aka the badge check locations, we met Cosplay Crochet Chaos, who let me get a shot of their incredible, entirely crocheted Critical Role cosplay. This wouldn't be the last we saw of them, but it was bye-bye for now because it was time for the new and improved booth, in that the staff noticed how long our line was and made sure that we had a line wrangler the whole time. And one of our first was none other than Cosplay Crochet Chaos, who was also a con volunteer. But we had a rotating cast of line wranglers, and I didn't get a chance to talk to most of them, so I just want to say thank you so much to all of you for keeping the line out of the walkway. We love a clear walkway. Don't block the walkway. But we also saw some amazing cosplays, including this Radon, who I'd actually seen in the holiday runway at Hallmat last year, and this adorable Okarun and Momo, who gave me a little golden ball. And I was told that I could take a break at some point, so when the line died down for a moment, I hid under the table and ate chips. This was also the day that a person who I think wants to remain anonymous came by and donated $1,000 on their own to the Campaign for Southern Equality, meaning that the last charity donation record of $1,275 was probably already completely smashed. So please praise this anonymous donor in the comments by finding a random person in this time lapse, personally choosing to believe that they are the large donor when they are probably not, and complimenting them. I see your random act of kindness, and I raise you as many as my comments can muster, and if you find this, know that those compliments are in your name. But with the booth done, I had just enough time to fuel up before my panel with my new favorite con life hack, pre-cooked pasta and shaky cheese. Hear me out, this has 10 grams of protein, plus the cheese will probably make Hazariel mad and yell about cheese in her new cheese outfit, so it's a double win. But the protein and that French fromage anger would do nothing to save me from the disaster that was my panel. We came in and sat in the back of the panel that was already going on, because while I get that Metrocon runs on Metrocon time, Sarah runs on marching band time, where on time means 15 minutes early. And Metrocon only gives a 10-minute gap between panels. So as 1:50 was approaching and this panel didn't seem to be coming to a close, I was starting to freak out a little bit, because I had asked if it was okay if I just brought a flash drive with my panel on it and if I could have a laptop provided. And there was a laptop for this panel, and it had a little number sticker on it that made me think it was part of the staff's or something, but it was not, because the other people took it with them on their way out. And by now, it was my panel time, and I had no laptop, so the staff scrambled to get in touch with the cosplay staff, who did have a laptop for me, but in the meantime, I struggled to do a panel that I've literally done 3 times because I couldn't even find it on my Google Drive. So I pulled up the VOD of the time that I did this panel live for my patrons. If you came to this panel, I am so sorry that you had to put up with me being completely tripped off my game. But this video is on my second channel if you want to see the content that you were promised. And I tried to do that for a while until Sriracha finally rescued me with the laptop, but could not rescue me from my dumb ass, because then I found out that I had only put the Keynote file on the flash drive and not the PowerPoint save that I exported it as. And you cannot open a Keynote file on a PC. So I gave up and turned it into a Q&A, which kind of ended up like bringing up most of the points that I'd say in the panel anyway, so it turned out all right. But I have to say thank you so much to Sriracha for running the laptop, and real big thank you to the very kind staff member who tried to convert the Keynote to a Google Slides file. Like, y'all did the most for me with what my dumbass brought, and I thank you anyway. But with that nightmare finished, I got out of Okarun, but kept on his makeup because it was kind of a look, honestly. And we headed down for the second contest of the weekend, the Craftsmanship contest. Again, I will have more about this in the contest video that's coming, because there is so much to say, and if all of that was in here, I'd have to cut out all the potatoes and stuff. This video is for the silly bits, so here are the silly bits. I got her with that. I had a great time filming Pins being a delight on stage, and Snip being the unofficial stage scoocher, going to great lengths to ensure that every contestant fit on the stage. We were also very excited to see several people in the contest that had come up to the booth, but with that, we had a mission to take on. While Metrocon may lack in the food surrounding the con department, there is legend of a great food within, a delicacy perfect for an anime convention, a Japanese dish hailed in so much media, a good hearty snack to fill you up with its carbs and delicious spicy tuna. I am of course talking about jelly donuts. Apparently, the onigiri stand sells out pretty fast, but we were able to snag 2 spicy tunas, and while Haley failed the unwrap test,
They don't taste the same.
I got it out of the wrapper right and got the perfect bite of my donut.
That bite was all rice.
Happy brain, happy brain.
But with bellies full of rice balls, there was still room for ice cream. We had spotted the ice cream place when we came in, so we were kind of dying to go.
I saw that rose quartz and that pearl posing with the piano, and it like triggered a memory of that picture of Kelly Kirstein on point in lapis, no, in blue pearl at a piano. I'm like, oh, because I remember thinking, where the is this piano? Where did she get a piano? There's just a piano at Metrocon.
But this was also the first time we walked through the front of the hotel, which is pretty picturesque. It's got a fountain and some lush greenery, and as you leave, there is this really cool tram station.
Wait, railroad crossing? Railroad crossing. Do you remember that on the bus?
Yes, I do.
The lady would get on the mic and go, railroad crossing? Railroad crossing.
Oh, finger on mouth, 2 in the air.
Yeah.
And the ice cream place has some pretty crazy flavors with fun names, like the oatmeal cookies, cinnamon, and maple syrup ice cream I got that was called Oat of This World, and it was. And that was our Saturday. Sunday had the busiest schedule yet because it was finally the day of the Metrocon Cosplay Championship, which is the one I was judging. So with pre-judging through closing ceremonies, we really were working 9 to 5. But because of that, the costume I chose today is one that I know I can wear from opening to close. Potatoes, the Potato Witch. She's definitely an original character and not an outfit I made for the Ren Fair. And her name is absolutely Potatoes, and not just because I spelled an 8-letter word wrong. But Haley became a hobbit again. And on our way down, we were delighted to see that the stairs were finally fixed. And even though this was the earliest call time we had all weekend at 8:45 a.m., we remained in step and showed up at 8:30 in time for a single pan shot of the prejudging room that I am having a lot of fun animating over for my other video. But I will give you the sillies of prejudging. So even though we had actually really great rubrics that gave us all the character names, while discussing, there were a few people that ended up with silly nicknames for character names that we couldn't remember. So my Disney hater ass dubbed this gorgeous Phantom Manor pair the Disney Ghosts, and this Alir cosplayer became Pepsi. And because Haley had been filming the contestants out by the glass doors that led out to the Riverwalk, when prejudging was over, we decided to check out this little area. And I think the Riverwalk perfectly encapsulates what I've been enjoying about Metrocon: the availability of quiet places. The center section of the con and the dealer's room are of course pretty loud and relatively crowded, but there are also plenty of areas with few people and little noise just a few steps away, which was well needed alongside my second portion of shaky pasta, which fellow Judge Restar called inspired, because next up was the final run of the booth, which I brought the potato back for since it was now matching my cosplay. But the most love came from cosplay staff member Magda, who surprised me with an early birthday Publix chocolate cake. You may remember Magda from the Cosplay Money video, but you probably don't know that Magda is best girl. I'm sorry, Sriracha. You are best condiment. But we also found out where these funny stickers came from. Anyway, let me tell you how the charity drive went. We crushed it. We sold out of cards entirely by the end of Sunday, and in total raised $1,895 for the campaign for Southern Equality. Thanks to everyone who donated. My goofy thing I love about this is that you get to donate to a cause without getting emails for the rest of your life because you would feel too guilty to unsubscribe from them, but I can do that for you because I get them now anyway. And with the booth all done and packed up, we got a little bit of a room break. Well, parking lot break. This is our room right now.
No, it's a parking lot.
It's a parking lot.
And since the stairs were now fixed, and because Pins and Snip claimed that they could totally walk downstairs in their giant Pikmin Bloom cosplays,
Nobody trip. If you don't want to be in the thumbnail, don't trip.
but we all made it safely and headed down for the Metrocon Cosplay Championship, and I chugged a coffee because this was also a performance contest that I needed to judge, so I needed to pay attention. But we apparently needed more water than caffeine because the staff and Kay's husband accidentally double provided water, which was perfect because I am the most hydrated person you will ever meet. Though we also realized pretty quickly that we should not drink too much of that or we will have to pee and we need to pay attention. Anyway, you'll get a whole breakdown of this other video. You get it at this point. But here's the goofy stuff. So they were doing center checks, but we thought they were like full on rehearsing and we didn't want to spoil the skit. So to distract myself and the other judges, I drew a doodle of all of us and Restar kept it and it was very cute. But the funniest part of the championship actually had nothing to do with the contest itself, but the audience, like halfway through, decided that the getting on and off stage time was yippee time. Oh my god. And this made me giggle very much. It was very cute. And when we went up for the awards at the end, I don't think we got told that they were gonna pass the mic to us at this point. So nobody really had anything prepared. And we were all also kind of in a sleepy end of con haze. So every person quietly denied the mic and passed it down the line until it got to me and I was forced to rub those two remaining brain cells together.
Wow, what a great contest, wasn't it?
But we still weren't done because we had closing ceremonies to attend. But this was actually hype because all of the cosplay guests were finally together, so we all signed a fan for the cosplay directors. And while when we went up on stage, we were just supposed to do a really quick thanks, love you, bye, Katie's thingamabobs made it really special and gave them the fan right then.
There's one award that hasn't been awarded yet, and I'd like to do it now on behalf of myself and all the other cosplay guests. This award goes to the best cosplay staff.
Which made my two brain cells crank out one more coherent thought on the mic.
I'll go off what Katie said, and yeah, I just want to tell y'all, this cosplay staff has one of the best that I've ever had the pleasure of working with. Heather and Sammy and Magda and Sriracha and Elsie, all of you, all the cosplay staff are the people that didn't come up on this stage right now, but put on all those contests and did them well, did them fairly, did them inclusively. They are the heart of cosplay at Metrocon, and we thank you for a great one.
Which led into my favorite moment of the con, where I managed to start a chain of hearts with almost all of the cosplay guests. And if you just look at everyone's faces when they get tapped on the shoulder, they get this big smile and they're so willing to do it, and then they pass it down the line all excited. This clip brings me so much joy. And so do the goofy family photos that we took backstage and out on the loading dock.
Somebody get her a potato.
And what I said on stage, I will have so much more to say about in my other video, but this cosplay staff wasn't just incredible. They made us all feel welcome. They made us all feel like family, and I have to thank you all for such an amazing weekend. But with closing ceremonies done, I got to eat that Publix chocolate cake and we headed home. And at the end of the night, when I think about my most and least favorite things about this con, while I think my favorite thing might be the heart chain, my only downside I could even think of was that the embassy's stairs were messed up. And isn't that such a wonderfully small thing to be a con's worst quality? Metrocon solidified something for me. I think my favorite kinds of cons are actually mid-sized ones. Not too small that you run out of things to do, and not too big that you're overwhelmed by the crowds, so do avoid the popcorn stand, but with unique events, contests for every kind of cosplayer, and a dedication to cosplay at its core, I'd say Metrocon is a great one to go to if you bring your own food. It was the busiest schedule I've ever had, but it never felt overwhelming because anytime I needed help, it was there. This cosplay staff went above and beyond, not just for me, but for the contestants in these shows. And I got to be surrounded by so many friends, both as guests and as staff, and I got to feel so much love at the booth and be wrapped in and be part of the heart of Metrocon. And somebody gave me a real potato. Thank you, Metrocon, for lifting the curse that's been plaguing me all year. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to support the channel directly, you can check out my Patreon, where you'll get exclusive live streams and exclusive videos. But if you're just watching, liking, commenting, subscribing, or sending the video to your friend or your mom, then you're supporting the channel too. So thank you. Also, please subscribe. I think I forgot. Please subscribe. But the biggest thank you to my newest big support tier patrons: Marianne, Tamlin, your mom, Saracha, Salmon Max, Jaden Rose, Bone Meal, Serena Mayhem, Caroline, Jean Ricker and Pops, Rachel 56 Ghostwriter, Dare, Nina, and Ollie Livy. Thanks for watching. Bye.